Hello, everyone. Welcome to Online Seller UK podcast. My name is Prabhat, founder of Online Seller UK, and your host for today. Today, we've got a really interesting topic and really important one for all the Amazon sellers, which is sourcing products for your Amazon accounts or selling on Amazon. So we've got a really experienced speaker with us, Sebastian from Zignify Global Sourcing. Sebastian, welcome to our podcast.
Hey, Prabhat, thank you very much for having me. Thank you for the invitation.
Excellent. So I think it's good to start with your introduction, your company's introduction, and we can take it from there.
Sure, that was a very quick one. Zignify Global Product Sourcing, I guess the name tells it all. We help finding manufacturers all over the world. We negotiate the prices with them. Our target is to get the lowest prices for you with your products. And besides that, anything else that follows, of course, after the sourcing in terms of quality control, finding a logistics company, doing import preparation, so that your product idea becomes reality and stands on your yard or in the FBA warehouses.
Excellent. So in the world of online selling, everything is online and there is minimal face-to-face communications a lot of time. So, and I'm going towards the sourcing giants like Alibaba and global sources and things like that. So in the world of that, how do you place yourself with regards to sourcing?
Yeah, I mean, of course, anybody else can do sourcing always on their own as well. That's how we started as well. I'm an Amazon seller since 2014, have now 2 brands I'm still selling. And of course, you can do all the sourcing on your own. And that's what I also suggest everybody to do, especially in the beginning, to learn, to go through the processes. Sourcing in China is usually often quite easy. But when it comes to other parts, other countries, it's a bit more tricky because there is literally no Alibaba. And the target, what we do is for the ones who are, I mean, whether it's beginners who have maybe brought the first 1, 2, 3 products, or also the experienced or the aggregators, is that we then come in professionally and do the sourcing for them with the target of finding usually 30 to 60 potential producers, get as many proposals as possible in order to get the lowest prices. So we help in the sourcing process in terms of going in and doing the sourcing, not only to get 2, 3, 4, 5 proposals, but a lot as reasonable and a lot or enough in order to get really good prices negotiated.
Excellent. So I think what you mentioned towards the end, the prices as negotiated and better price, I think that's the best thing for anybody who's selling on Amazon, so or anywhere else, so to say. And you've also mentioned about Alibaba not being in other countries and so on, or not popular as such. So a lot of sellers, obvious source is China, but I think things are shifting a little bit for many reasons. So away from China, what are the other countries that you source from or you work with?
And the shift is, by the way, maybe if this comes out right now, still one of the things we've had a short video made yesterday or 2 days ago. The sourcing, sorry, not the sourcing, the shipping prices have massively dropped again. And they're as cheap as I haven't seen it like in a very long time. So shipping right now from China to Europe or China to US is super, super cheap. So even if somebody's still right now in the process of, hey, I have my products ready, but I wanted to get started, jump in. Go get your shipments done right now. It's very, very cheap at the moment. If you need to find a logistics partner who can help make it quick and of course as reasonable as possible, feel free to ask. We'll help you, of course. But at the same time, sourcing from other countries, last year we still had about 10% of all of the projects were outside of China. This year, and well, over the last 1.5 years, it has changed to about 50 to 55% of the projects are being sourcing outside of China. This can be any other Asian country. This can be Europe. This can be me, myself, I sit in Germany. This can be made in Germany, made in the UK, or also for US sellers, especially, I mean, of course, sourcing in the US itself or Mexico, because the ways are shorter. It doesn't take as long and it's cheaper. And plus you can, we even have US sellers who literally say on the product, not made in China on purpose for marketing reasons. So this can, of course, happen as well. We're sourcing pretty much any country in the world. We would not go to North Korea. We, at the moment, are also not really sourcing from Russia. for, well, obvious reasons.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
but else than that, you'd be surprised. You can source products, of course, in many other countries of the world, but be prepared. I mean, China is China. China still very often is the cheapest country to produce. But you'll also be surprised. Sometimes we found that some of the products we could even produce cheaper in Europe rather than in China.
Mhm, mhm. And also, a lot of times, quality is also something that's important to look
Yeah.
at. And that. So,
Made in
okay, so
Germany does not mean it's 100% quality. Do the quality control in any other country as well.
well, German production, is popular to have, and then it's known to have better quality. So, I don't doubt that at all. So, let's talk about some of the challenges. So, I understand you help people to source, and when people are sourcing themselves as well. So, what are the very common challenges that people see?
Very first one, I mean, if you source even in China or outside of China, you don't get enough proposals. Most of them the same way as we started, of course, as well. Um, I mean, by now we have with all the children in the varieties like 70 or 80 products in the two brands, and they you start with getting two proposals, three proposals, maybe four proposals, and then you think, oh, okay, I found a good proposal. But be surprised. I mean, even top sellers, even for some aggregators or for some huge companies that, I mean, we're doing sourcing even for some of the Fortune 500 companies, that they are quite often surprised how much you can still get out of the products in terms of not only the quality, but better pricing. Like, let me give you one example. A German seller selling in the US, and we found the product very quickly. It was a lucky shot, and I don't think it will happen again in very few hours. But we found a producer not in China but in Vietnam, so he's saving those Trump tariffs, the anti-dumping, what is it called, the custom taxes for the US, which we've seen for some of the products going up to 47% of the value, insane. Got it from Vietnam and $1 cheaper. Now you can of course ask, like, okay, can that be a match? Well, it is much if he sells 500,000 pieces a year. So quick sourcing, $500,000 bottom line savings. So with many of the products, also for young starters who see, hey, I'm starting to sell a product, it is definitely worth. I mean, looking into optimizing the profits by better sourcing, by better price negotiations. And you may have heard the phrase that the real money is made in purchasing, not in sales.
Absolutely, you are spot on that. Yeah, spot on. So a general question: if somebody is very new to selling or who's just started up, is the capital? How much capital you need to kickstart? And again, the question I think is not answerable directly because it also depends on the price of the product and so on. So, in terms of somebody who's starting, well, what do you suggest they need to have capital?
I mean, it would be nice, of course, if you have a couple thousands that you can invest both into products. Plus, please also calculate in you will need money for great pictures. And if you do something in today's world, pictures. Make pictures so much better than back then. I remember laying in my apartment in Beijing and also in Shanghai. We used to live in China, and try to take the pictures with the with the DSLR camera myself, and nice lighting and everything. It was good. I was outstanding with the images, but even those today, I mean, competition is tough. Make good images. When it comes to money, calculate additional money in for great images. Calculate, of course, money also in for advertising on Amazon. You need to advertise or you will not sell. That's plus in the beginning, of course, give a few products away or pay the money back. So calculate some money in there as well. But you may for sure also sometimes start, with 200 or an MOQ minimum order quantity of 200 or 500 units. And if you say a product is like $1 or $2, then you have your 500 or 1,000. I hope you don't catch me right now that I cannot calculate, but I think what I just said should add up to 500 or $1,000. But keep some additional money, please, for pictures, for PPC. So if you have 2,000-3,000, or this could be a good start. If you want to start slowly, you want to also start learning, you want to go through the process. But if you're more seasoned and you say, hey, you know what, I really want to go in, calculate that you need quite a bit of money, yes, for advertising, for getting reviews, for making great pictures, for all of those things.
Mhm.
So it doesn't hurt if you have 10, 15,000 available. you can start much quicker, plus maybe not with one product, because that one product may also fail. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. But if you say you start with maybe even 3 products or 4, then you can just calculate what will the product cost, what is the MOQ likely, and maybe I would suggest like take it that price at least like 3 times for additional pictures, for additional advertising, and so on. So if you buy products maybe for 2,000 or 5,000, you should probably have 6,000 to 15,000 or so available. But you can start small.
Okay, excellent. So thanks for sharing those to us. So I think we're coming towards the end of the podcast today. So it's best to talk about what you exactly do, and also if somebody needs to contact you as a company, or Zignify as a company, where is the best place to get to?
Thank you very much. So with the sourcing, simply is you have a product idea and you want to get it sourced. And again, not only 2, 3, 4 proposals, but get a lot more. In China, we target usually to get about 30 potential suppliers and as many proposals as possible. Outside of China means, for example, sourcing in Europe, sourcing in Germany, sourcing in the UK for the UK sellers. Would I lose the thread? We get about 60 potential producers that we search, find, contact, and get as many proposals as possible. But then also after that, once you have the samples, we decide for which ones should get the samples. We do the quality control. We can go into the factories and do the quality control for the mass production. We help with finding a logistics company, making sure that they make it as quick and fast as possible. We can help with some of the product design. Yeah, and this is usually the way it then repeats with new products. Where you can find us is very simply zignify.net. zignify.net, and there's a small booking slot where you can just say, hey, let's schedule a time and we'll get in a call for more details.
Excellent. Thank you again, Sebastian, for your time today, and let's speak to you soon. All the best. Bye for now.
Thank you very much for having me.